Okay, all right. And we are at the first episode of this podcast. We don't even know what we're going to call it yet, but you're going to get a ton of value from it, whatever it is. Um, I'm here interviewing Patrick Schlaubi. He sometimes goes as Frank. He sometimes goes as Schlaubi, which is the German Papa Smurf. I don't exactly know why this is the case, but this is the case. And all right, Frank, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, I'm good. How are you? Anyways, so first of all,
I
where
don't know
where
if it's Papa Slurf. It's the guy with the glasses.
that's Pop. Well, it's listen. It's either Papa Smurf or
Papa
Gargamel, and
Slurf is the one with the beard, isn't it?
oh, okay, it is someone different. Okay, so you're not Papa Smurf. You're the guy with the glasses, which I don't even remember what he's called in
He's
English. But
actually an ass, but people called me Schlaubi on the job because
okay,
they thought I knew more than them, and that's why Schlau is like smart in German. So
okay, fine. So we're talking to a very smart man. Okay, that's good. This has been established. Anyways, so yeah, sometimes also like just people who are watching, if you decide to actually watch this intro and not scroll right past it, sometimes I call him Patrick, sometimes I call him Frank. Your alter ego is Frank Xavier, right?
yes.
Exactly. So we might get into a different podcast as to why, but for now, um, tell us who you are. Like why why are we talking? Why should people be listening? Who are you?
Okay. Firstly, maybe about you. You are my coach since I think 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I'm your coach 4 or 5 years, and we were that fine. That's fair. Like we were kind of on and off for a while, and then we started working together consistently on a daily basis to help grow your business. Very intense work. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a referral to you from a friend. And it was starting off. He said, "This is a coach. He's for breath work." That's how he pictured that time. And I
Breath work.
thought, man, I have sleep apnea at the moment,
Yeah.
and I have a problem getting a lot of air sometimes. And I thought, like, breath coach, is that a thing? Okay, cool. Let's try that. And then we started it, and you gave me exercises, and they were on the one side anatomically and as well as emotionally too hard for me. I could not do the work, and then we transitioned to to business development, and it was interesting because we just put it on ice for the time being, but breath work is so powerful, and that's how I got to know you actually at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, if like without like stealing the focus of this current podcast, your breath is connected to every emotion, everything that you do. You're breathing literally every second. You can go without food for a while and survive. You can go without water for a while and survive. You can't go without breath for more than a few minutes. It's the most core basic function built into your system. It's also something that unlike, let's say, for example, your blood flowing or your heartbeat, which kind of happens automatically, breath, it can happen automatically or you can control it. It kind of has like the ability to, like, it's interchangeable like that. And it has, so a lot of people who you start doing breath work with them and it's just too powerful, it could also mean that they literally just have a lot of stuck pent up emotion, which if you're in a place where you need to get shit done in your life, it might not necessarily be the best time to start breath work, even though there is technically the proper breath work for any situation, but it also requires a certain level of wanting to do it and motivation and discipline. And maybe we'll get into your personal life some other time, but it was definitely best that we put it on the side, you know? So now let's just like swing back to you. Who are you? Why should people listen to you? You know?
Yeah, so I was born in the south of Germany. With 2 years, my parents moved to the Bahamas. A year
Oh,
there, then 5 years in the States, 4 years in England, almost a year in Switzerland, 2 years in Germany, 2 years in Luxembourg, and then 12 years in Spain. They're still living in Spain. 2018, I moved to Germany. I have two daughters. They're living with their mom an hour away. And yeah, 2018, I started with door-to-door business sales, initially in the commodities, electricity, gas industry. Then additionally, fiber optics, telecommunication sales, internet, mobile stuff. And yeah, pretty much, especially in the fiber optic house installation industry in Germany, I've made a name for myself. I have the current ranking record for sales in a day, as far as I know, 36
Wow.
sales in one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is insane. That is insane. Like, how many hours that day did you work?
Was from 8 in the morning to 9 p.m.
8 to 9. So that's 11 hours of work and 36 sales. It's approximately like not that I'm good at math, but like 3 sales an hour, give or take, on average.
Yeah, something like that. And that was like
That is a lot.
4.2K in one day.
How much?
4.2K or 4.3, something like that.
4.3K euros.
Yes.
For almost 4,500 euros in one day.
Yes.
So just to point out, that is an extreme situation, but it does show like what is possible. And like, I'm just curious, what's the average salary in Germany per month? Do you know?
I would presume like something like between 2.5 to 3.5K a month.
So you know what? Actually, let's. I'm just curious. Like, let's just like look it up just to like so we can understand. Like, okay, I'll look it up right now.
I have to add to that, like to that day, I had someone before me. He had 32 sales in a day, and I was building up to this day, a record day, and I have to add I had like what was it, 20 like 5 fixed appointments at a certain hour and 15 I call them window time slot appointments. People are like home from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and they know I'm going to come sometime along that time period. So I had like 20 people waiting for me, and out of the 20 I made 36.
So yeah, so once again, like I totally get that. In order to have those numbers, you need to have a certain,
Preparation.
you need to have like a certain system in place. Like that makes perfect sense. But it is important for me to point out. I just looked it up on the Google. Okay, and if these numbers are correct, as of 2025, the average salary in Germany is 4,634 euros per month, which means that in one fucking day, okay, you basically made an entire monthly salary of the average person in Germany, which is just, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. It just goes to show what's possible. It's not maybe typical, but it does go to show what's possible. So, and you basically said that you pre-planned appointments beforehand, and it also sounds like that you also had kind of like motivation because someone before you did like 30 did like 32 sales, and you're like, ah, fuck, I got to break the record and stuff like that.
Just comes to me right now. I'm a very strong carrot guy. Like if there's a carrot, yeah, I love the competition. I'm a good sportsman. If someone else is better than me, I draw my hat. But I like incentives. I like competitions, challenges. Who writes more contracts a day? Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, listen, that's amazing. So also like out of curiosity, like why are we even talking right now? Like it's cool, like we get it, like you know how to make sales, you're a good sales guy. So like why are we even talking right now? Like basically like why door-to-door sales, for example? Why should someone be getting into that at all?
Yeah, so I have to actually compliment my coach Danny on this. He pushed me like years already, and now he's funny, kicked me in the ass to start doing it, to become a coach myself in the door-to-door industry. I never saw myself as a coach, still don't do totally. Probably everyone has this as an imposter syndrome, but my numbers give me some sort of authority, and I like helping people. That's true. And it somehow naturally, organically came about that a lot of wherever, which I've been at more than 20 to 30 companies in the door-to-door industry, that they always like send people to me, newbies, to get onboarded, to learn. If they're older people, already longer on the job and have like a plateau, they send them to me to get like coaching. Mostly done that for free, and yeah, I'm trying to build a second how do you call it in English? Second business, yeah, of a coaching business. And yeah, this is a way of like me getting more in the English speaking realm and more visibility. And door to door, why door to door? It's it's a format of sales that distinguishes itself from online sales, from telesales, from inbound sales like shops and stuff. Door-to-door sales, I've actually grown a heart fond of, because it's there's a saying like Google, I think it's a few years old, Google, now it's like AI, but Google at the time knew already if a woman is pregnant before she knows herself. So the algorithms, the online marketing, that's getting pushed forward, and everyone who has a lot in their brain or whatever, they're all like flocking into online. But there is a market of people that they want to talk with a human of some sort of a product which is a bit of more needs more explaining, and they don't want to be in front of a screen. They want a real human in front of them, and have 4 eyes, 6 eyes, people at a round table talk with a coffee and have something explained. And I think there will be a market with that also in the future. And that's the advantage for the client, yeah, door to door, people coming home. You have to know that in Germany, door to door has like a bad rap, which, for example, in Switzerland, which is pretty similar culture, and also in the States, it does not. Generally, in the sales guy in the States, for example, as far as I know, I was young when I was in the States, but you can talk more about that. I rhymed it together. That's how you say it in English. I theorized about it, like in the States, you have the Wild West, and everything was new. And when people came into town and had news and had new potions or new products, it was something positive. Europe is like an old continent, and everything is based on referrals, titles, certificates, and stuff. And also, there was a time after the reunification in Germany where a lot of like bit sleazy door-to-door sales guys, they went into East Germany, they sold a lot of shit. People just bought it because they didn't know any better. And also in the insurance branch, until the government like had some laws where you had to have certificates, so you can't just sell any shit. The door-to-door branch or industry has a bad rap. For example, in Switzerland, people are willing to pay 100 francs, which is like 100 euros, for people just to come to visit you at home, because the client has the advantage of not having to get in his car, find a parking space, go to town, go to the shop. They pay 100 francs just for you to come home, look at their house, give them a personalized offer, and not even closing the offer, but just for someone coming to your home. That's
amazing. That's amazing. Like, and also like what I'm understanding from you is that it's kind of like what you're describing. It's kind of like what's old is new, meaning like back in the day, people would get basically snail mail. They would get basically like regular mail, and they would have like all these, like they would open their mail and they would see tons of like marketing offers, and they wouldn't even read it and whatever. And then all of a sudden email was invented, and you would open every single email that you had. And nowadays you're being bombarded by emails, and you'll actually open physical mail, because, and basically what's old is new. And all of a sudden, like you send an offer in physical mail, and all of a sudden people's like, wow, I got like real mail. Like I wonder what, even though like if you see a label from the bank, you might not open it. But the point that I'm saying is that it sounds like there's so much online. And by the way, I can also like relate to this, just because like I'm in front of a computer all day long with my business, and it's really like, it's sometimes really nice to have like a physical human being. Like, it's funny in my head, like I'm saying it out loud and it sounds like it's like I just crave connection and humans, like you know, like or something like that.
The listeners have to know you're in Tel Aviv, since we know each other, and I'm always in Germany.
Exactly. You're in Tel Aviv, you're in Dusseldorf or Spain or wherever the fuck, like but on the one hand, like there is maybe some suspicion of someone coming to the door, but on the other hand, because everything is moved to online, this personal connection has become kind of like a micro niche. That's what I'm gathering from what you're saying, and meaning that there's not that many people that can do it or that are actually doing it, and there's actually like less competition and a lot of money to be made here.
Yes. So if we like transition to why is door-to-door good for the person as a job, not for the client, there's a very famous sales guru in Germany. His name is Dirk Kräuter. I talked with him once on a very premium sales seminar which I booked, and he's like all for online. But I asked him about door-to-door, and he said, yeah, actually, if you can find a way of having it done successfully, and with integrity and stuff, there is a large point to be made. Like, for example, in the States, Utah, all the Mormons, and I actually have a couple of Mormon friends myself. The amount of self-development and skills that you learn that you can use anywhere in every other branch industry later on, even as a husband, a wife, a parent, in any sort of situation. The things that you learn in door-to-door are like communication skills. There's no other industry where you have this large amount of different people that you see every single fucking day. The amount of different personalities, you get to see their homes, rich people, poor people, old people, young people, foreign people, native people. You get to work on yourself. If you have a bad day, how do you drag yourself out of the mud again? It's amazing for your mindset. Self-discipline. You have to learn to work with large amounts of money. Sometimes you have a great day, you make €1,000 a day. You have to pace it that for the bad days. A lot of things that you learn for life. There's a saying, I don't know if it's in other languages as well. A normal life is like this. A life of a public service agent is like this. Life of a sales guy is like this. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, like, I just want to point out as well, like, the people here that are watching, and then the truth is, I actually have a very important question for you that's on my mind as well. Is that what, and also when I learned more about your business model, and I kind of like understood more of how much there is actually to be made. Not only is that how much there is to actually be made, but also, of course, the self-development side. Because you're exposed to a range of personalities, and it requires you to find within yourself a certain level of charisma, relatability, empathy, all of these positive qualities that are very transferable, like you said. But not only that, like someone who makes, let's say, 3 sales, and I forget the exact exchange rate from euros to dollars, because I mean, we might have people in America watching this and stuff like that. But basically,
euro and dollars are at the same as right now.
More or less. It depends. Sometimes euros a bit more, sometimes the dollar. It really depends. But basically, that if you're able to reach a point where, and I know this is something that you teach people, where you're making 3 sales a day, that's around like 330, like $300 to $400 a day from 3 sales. And technically, like if you strategize it right, you could technically do that in a few hours. And like, you have so many people, let's say, whether it's even like a student who's a student and he needs to study, you can take those few hours instead of like working some 8-12 hours at McDonald's or wherever the hell it is that you're working. It's such a it's kind of this like diamond in the rough type of job, and my next question for you would basically be like, what would your advice be? Because there might be some people watching this in Australia or America. What about the door-to-door industries in those places? Meaning that, like, what would you say to those people?
Definitely, as I did as well, find a door-to-door coach, or also find a coach in general. You need door-to-door is like that in general. Self-development, I think, is like getting dirty. You can shower, like if you're not dirty, maybe once a week, but if you're getting dirty a lot every day, you need to shower at least once a day. And you need an outside point of cleaning, of building you up. And actually, the 2 countries you mentioned, they're already pretty advanced in door-to-door, like Australia and the States.
Yeah, I just want to cut you off for a second, just because like the door-to-door coach, like, I mean, I think that would make sense, regardless of where you are, just to, like, if you can afford it, and you can just advance faster. But specifically because you have a lot of experience in the industry in Germany, and I'm just curious, like, is those industries, and I guess you were about to get into it, is what's maybe unique about those industries? What should somebody know about those industries? How can your knowledge help them specifically for those industries in those areas?
I help some guy in Australia.
Yeah, let's say someone in America wants to be a door-to-door salesman. Like how can you help them?
I guess because Germany is a pretty it's a more introverted country and culture, and more up in the brains, not so extroverted, not so emotional. There's actually I don't know if that's a word, a thing, fructification. Like, I learned a lot from Sam Taggart, for example, from the States. There's an Australian guy, I can't think of his name right now. He's in the solar industry. They're more like very extroverted, and that's what their strong points are. The Germans are very like, they're skeptical, they're in their head. They don't actually like a sales guy. And the things that work here, they're like an atom bomb probably down under. It's very
Interesting.
systematic. It's very subliminal. It's like, I know for the listeners here, you're an Israeli, and you wind me up with Nazi jokes every call, so I guess I can make a Nazi joke here. Like the Nazis, I mean, everywhere they killed Jews, but why are the Nazis so bad or so evil? They did it very efficiently. We had that in another call. And I guess if you survive in the German door-to-door market, you have to be very efficient and you have 1,000 little marginal advantages. Whereas in other countries, you might just say, "Hi, I'm this guy," and the people might say, "Okay, let's grab a coffee. Tell me about it," and that wouldn't work in Germany.
It's interesting because, like, so first of all, I mean, I guess like if in Germany you have to be a Nazi. That's basically what you're saying. But no, like I'm just kidding. But like, so it's because like from my
Germany's very left right now, so that wouldn't
like,
really fit nowadays.
I'm curious. Listen, I'm curious, and maybe in the future we'll even have someone on here who is doing door to door in those countries, because I can't imagine anyone enjoying having a salesman knock on their door and pitch them. I can't imagine a single person who would actually, I mean, unless you're like maybe an old person who's lonely or something like that, but I am curious, like, because there's a lot of questions I want to cover, but just because we're on this subject, how do you get someone to kind of like you and invite you in? Because you say like they're so skeptical. And
like me, and what did you say second? I coughed. Sorry.
Like they're introverted, they're skeptical, they're suspicious. How do you get them to like you and invite you in and actually listen to you? How do you do that?
So this is in the theory, because I haven't really done a lot of door to door in other countries, a little bit, but doesn't really.
No, I'm talking about your experience. I'm talking about your experience with Germany.
In Germany, they're a stickler. They love order and things that have to be done. So if you go around and say, "Okay, I just need to inform you, for example, what's going to be happening in the street. Doesn't take long, 5 minutes. We can make an appointment, or we can do it now, and then we have it finished, and then we can get on with our lives." They're like, "Okay, sounds like a boring thing that has to be done. This is, yeah, let's do this."
By the way, but so this is a very like, because like from what I'm hearing here, also with like my, let's say, my coaching mind, when I like to like find like the nuts and bolts here of what actually happened. So you are able to kind of understand the culture, and based on the culture, and I'm guessing there's also some level of being able to read the person that you're looking at, which over time, I'm guessing you built an intuition based on that. But you understand the culture, and because you understand the culture, you understand how to speak to that specific culture, which what's cool is that is a transferable skill. That is a transferable skill, meaning even if, let's say, you're dropped in Australia or America or whatever, which who knows, maybe someday we'll have enough of a following, we can candid camera you or something like that, put a hidden camera somewhere and see what happens, like drop you in the middle of nowhere, but over time, like you understand the culture, and then you understand how to speak to someone, which in German, they could say it's order, it's rules. It might even be a bit boring, let's say, kind of like a very, trying to think of the word in English, because it's also
official vibe.
Exactly, a very official, exactly, exactly. Official, like this is what's happening in your neighborhood. These are the logistics. I have to go over it with you, stuff like that.
Yeah, and actually, it's a nice way of actually how people like to receive information. Like, for example, regardless of the content, what I'm selling and what I'm saying, if I would say to you, you'd be thinking, "Okay, this guy, he's crawling up my ass. He wants to sell me something." If I would say to you, you'd think, "Okay, I guess I have to listen to this guy. Didn't really fit into my schedule, but he's saying it to me in a calm, matter of fact way." And I had this from, I think, Grant Cardone. He said, "Door to door and really opened my mind, makes you a better father, better mother." Like, if you can say to your child, you know what, it's not nice having a dirty house. Your room looks like a bomb. What can we do so that it's clean every day? Do you have any ideas? Or I can like shout, I can work with pressure and say, you clean up your room, motherfucker, otherwise you're gonna get, or I can say, you clean up your room and you're gonna get 10, 20 euros. And that's like, you educate them to be like more demanding, and it's not nice. But if you talk as a normal, on eye level with someone, it's a nice way of communicating, actually.
For sure. No, for sure, for sure. And it also like it's also interesting also because like I mean I used to follow Grant Cardone. I didn't even know that he talked about door to door. So it's it makes a lot of
I did
sense.
that as well.
Yeah, makes a lot of that totally makes sense. Like in my case as well, I didn't do door to door, but I did a lot of other types of sales. Probably I would say one of like the hardest sales that I did was probably selling Dead Sea products in the carts in the malls, which that's like such a classic Israeli thing to do. We might get into that on another call. But what I wanted to tell you as well is that I don't even know if they're salesmen, but sometimes like the phone company, you'll get a knock on the door and a technician from the phone company will say, we're doing infrastructure updates. I need access to your backyard. And then they'll hook up all sorts of stuff or whatever. And the truth is, obviously, as the homeowner, I can also say to them, no, I'm not going to let you in. I can technically do that. They have no power whatsoever, but then they're like, but if we don't do it here, then you won't have faster internet and da 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 da. And here's the thing. I don't even know if they're getting a commission off of this, but they do sound like a very official technician. They have the official logo.
Well, are you signing something in the end? Are you paying something more or different?
No. You're literally
they're probably just technicians, aren't they?
I don't know, but maybe for every house they get some sort of commission. Like I really have no idea how it worked, but the point is they're just acting very official. It's not trying to like, oh, and if you go into here, blah, blah, blah. It's just like I'm the technician.
Can I please look at your outlet?
Exactly. Which, by the way, like I had neighbors that they were like super suspicious and they didn't let them in. Like that's also a possibility. But the point that I'm saying is like I can definitely understand now if you come with kind of like an official vibe, and also like maybe I don't think we'll have time in this call because we have to end it in a few minutes. But maybe in the future you can tell them exactly what your industry is and also why it makes sense to have an official vibe because you're selling also like fiber optics as well. With the few minutes we have left, I actually want to talk a bit about your background because you didn't always do door to door, meaning like you also have like kind of like a rich background. And I'm curious, like just for a few minutes, just to like talk about that.
Yeah, like I've always been into marketing, like understanding customer avatars and building a product, like marketing and IT, those two areas. I remember in class and when I was young in school, there was once the Perfume. It's a book famous from Patrick Süskind. It's about a serial killer who takes the scents of that beautiful woman and crystallizes that to the perfect perfume. And the homework was by the teacher, like, go home, cut up snippets of different newspapers and magazines, and develop a perfume for a certain customer avatar. And that was so fun for me. I just got carried away. I did like 10 different perfumes and said, this is something for the 30-year-old woman that's sporty. This is something for the 40-year-old woman that's looking to get calmed down and getting and more flowery notes and stuff. And the people, the whole class was just like open mouth. What the fuck? This guy is going to go into marketing. So sales was not really my strength. Before I did door to door, I was less extroverted, less assertive. My dad was a good sales guy, but I was more introverted. So that's the one thing. Marketing, I always had a heart for marketing, like getting things that help people along in their lives to the right customer. The second thing, IT, that really, I was a project manager for different IT projects, blockchain and apps, mobile apps and stuff. And that really forces you to think like in a very systematic way. And I think my strength is I'm not a natural sales guy. But what I'm very good at is looking at what are other people doing. What can one person only do because he's like super charismatic. I have this one guy, he's like a young Will Smith. He's like super charismatic. He could talk shit all day and everyone would like him. But not everyone can do that. On the other hand, like being official and being like a bored, nerdy pimple guy, everyone can probably do that, you know. And so I'm really good at dissecting, analyzing, segmenting. What can we systematize, automatize, and building a system out of that. That's really my strength, and that's what you learn in IT, like building a software that always works, and error, yes, no, if this happens and that.
Amazing. And listen, and we'll also, I'm sure in the future calls, we'll go more into your systems and stuff. And I remember that we, on some level, systematize what you do as well. Because it's funny, like, I'll just say one final thought, how like you're good at copying people, but you also found some stuff that's unique to you, which we'll get into that in the future. Anyways, man, so this is our first podcast. This is our first official English podcast. Let's see where it goes. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you. I will stop the recording.
I have one question. When I brought up the Nazi issue, your face became very cold. Was that too delicate, or was that bad?
No, it's fine.